All right, folks, welcome back for another episode. I wanted to welcome my next guest. He is a true rap architect out of New York, one of the founding voices behind the legendary crew Adams Family, known for his sharp lyricism, layered metaphors, forward-thinking production. He's built a reputation for crafting dense, cerebral hip hop that rewards every listen. He's respected for pushing boundaries, a true MC's MC, and a producer with a catalog that reflects depth, originality, and authenticity. Wanted to welcome Cryptic One to the show. How are you?
I'm good. That was incredible intro, man. I was thought there was another guest, man. Maybe someone.
Well deserved, my man. Well,
Thank
good,
you.
man. Hey, just a amazing career that is still ongoing in terms of doing music. But real quick, I love to take it back and just talk to you about your early beginnings. Would you mind just telling us where you were born, where you grew up, and where you hang your hat these days?
I was born in Jamaica, Queens. Spent about the first, I guess, 6 or 7 years of my life in Queens, and then my parents did what many people did in their age bracket. In that those times, they fled the city and went to Long Island, which is where I grew up my formative years mostly. Um, And the second that I could get out of there, I was out of there. And now I'm in Brooklyn, New York, and
Okay.
no, no immediate plans on leaving uh, Brooklyn. But
Yeah.
you know, if I do leave, it's probably out of the country.
Okay. Well, hey, man, New York is New York. That's amazing. Great place for music. But do you recall growing up in Jamaica, Queens, and what your first exposure to music was? What were your parents listening to, or what was
Um,
around you?
yeah, my parents, is the days of record players, so they had record players. There would always be music playing in the house.
Mhm.
Um, things like the Beatles or specifically like some soundtracks, like the Hair soundtrack
Yeah.
and Jesus Christ Superstar. There was
Oh,
some funk,
yeah.
there was disco. There's a little bit of everything. And then my sister, who's 7 years older than me, so she had her own records, and that's when I got kind of more into like funk and disco was more her vibe than my parents' vibe.
Yeah. Did you like the stuff that your parents were listening to? And I'm sure.
I like
Yeah.
everything. Like I couldn't get enough music.
Yeah.
I specifically have very early memories of the Beatles, like singing along with my parents, like a very young age, maybe like 4 or 5 years old, like
Okay.
knowing the words to some Beatles songs and like vibing out with the parents to it.
Yeah. Man, at some point, you're introduced to rap music and that's what you make, right? And so what was your earliest memory of hearing rap music?
My earliest memory was Rapper's Delight.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, that that blew me away. I learned every lyric from it. I recited it. I would say it along, sing along with it, say it all day. And then I have a vivid memory of being in fourth grade, and I was not too keen on speaking in front of the class, but we had an assignment where we had to do something in front of the class, and they let us do anything.
Uh-huh.
So everyone was like reading stuff or a book report, and I did Rapper's Delight
That's
in
awesome, man.
front of the
How do you
class. Yeah.
recall? Do you recall how that was received at the time?
Oh, it was everyone loved it.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
mother My mother, who's a teacher, like I told her my idea to do it, and she was like, "Oh, that's okay." And then we actually transcribed all the lyrics, and she was like, "You can't say super sperm, you can't say this." So it
Right.
was also my first experience writing, like changing the lyrics,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's a long ass verse. I did everyone's verse, so it's a long song. So I was up there. That
Oh,
was my first
man.
performance too in fourth grade.
Oh,
Um,
that's amazing, man. But I mean, was it so your introduction into the culture after that, were you a B-boy or DJ, MC? Like what how did you start in hip
did
hop?
initially I started as obviously just a listener, but
Yeah.
rapping and breakdancing were like the first real entry point into the culture, I guess. Like it was just new and exciting. I wanted to be a DJ more than anything. After seeing like the Herbie Hancock Rocket video and
Yeah.
like
That was
hear the
something else.
scratching, you see the scratching, and that kind of made me want to be a DJ. But to be a DJ, you had to have a little bit of money
Yeah.
because you know my parents got a little sick of me fucking up their records. You know, I'd sit there thinking I was scratching. I'm really just scratching the records. But yeah, I eventually saved up money and got two kind of cheap Gemini turntables and a mixer, and then I went to my friend's house and he had a Technique 1200, and I was like, these are garbage, and I returned them, um, and saved more money, and eventually got one Technique 1200, and then
Yeah.
a year later got the next one.
That-
And that was probably 86 or 87 that I first started like DJing.
Yeah. And as I look back and as I hear you speak, I mean Gemini was pretty critical to the early starter MC or DJ, man. It was definitely the lily pad, I thought, man.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah. It was affordable and it looked like the other stuff, so
yeah,
you thought you were getting
yeah.
the
Right.
same.
Right.
I'm like, well, this is like $300 cheaper. Why not get this? So I got that, and I thought I was the man. And then I touched the real thing, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
It's
that's why I can't scratch on this thing. You
yeah,
know, it
the
was it was
belt
an
drive
eye-opening
versus direct
experience.
drive and
Yeah, learn very quickly that those things mean something. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I laugh because yeah, I was like, yeah, I remember buying like my first Gemini mixer, but yeah, at some point, you wanted to be an MC or producer. Do you recall like the catalyst? What was like, okay, I'm gonna transition from listener to doer now. What was that moment? Do you remember that?
Like as far as production, I remember the exact moment. It was so back in the days, like the way that I heard any hip hop was on the radio, and it wasn't allowed on daytime radio. So it was like Friday and Saturday night. You had Red Alert, you had
Yeah,
Magic, Marley Marl, you had Chuck Chill Out, and some college radio shows, but those were the main ones. And for whatever reason, I aligned with Kiss FM, which was Red Alert and Chuck Chill Out.
okay.
And he was the manager of the Jungle Brothers, so we used to play a lot of the Jungle Brothers stuff before it was released. And one night he played the song, I Got It Like That, and my ears perked up. I was like, I know that, I know that beat. I didn't know how beats were made. I didn't know that they were sampling. I didn't know what they were doing. So, but I recognized it, and I was like, that's in my parents' record collection. So I went through the whole collection and I found it. It's a Sly and Family Stone record, and I put it on, and then I would compare it to see what they did. And at that moment, I was like, that's what I want to do.
Uh,
And literally that night, I just kept listening to all my parents' records and like kind of marking, like, oh, that might make a good loop or whatever. And that's when I caught the bug. Of course, I couldn't afford a sampler. I didn't know what a sampler was. I didn't know
yeah,
any of that. So it took me a little while to figure out. I'm sure you're familiar with pause tapes.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so like I had cassette decks, so that's how I made loops. I would play the turntable, record, pause, go back, play the turntable, and just do that for 5 minutes, and then do the next layer. And um, yeah, that was when the bug hit me, and since that day, I can't stop um, listening to music with that ear of like, oh, I could use that for something.
Were you in middle school or what in terms of like frame of your life were you in?
I was in, I would say probably middle school, just going into high school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah.
wild. And there wasn't YouTube at the time. And man, like so self-taught, or did you have a friend that did something similar? How did you get on
I
that
had
train track?
one friend who was a DJ. He was really good.
Yeah.
He had family back and forth in Philly, so he knew. I don't know if people know this, but Philly was like a hub for all the scratch and battle DJs back in those days, from Jazzy Jeff to Cash Money to all those guys. And he was kind of connected to them, so he would take techniques and show me DJing things, but I didn't know anyone who knew anything about production.
Yeah.
So first thing was figuring out the pause tape was just kind of me figuring it out, like, oh, well, how can I make this part that I want to use longer? I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I'll use a tape deck, and I just figured that out. And then I didn't have YouTube, but my YouTube was Tower Records.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Sure.
would have a Tower Records like it's a 10-minute drive.
Yeah.
I would ride my bike over there actually and sit in front of the magazine stand on the floor and just pull all the ones that I thought might have some information that I needed. And there was one article in particular that kind of changed my life. It was an article. It wasn't about hip hop, but it was about the engineer from Firehouse Studios. I think it's called Firehouse, and that's a place where early Gangstar was recorded. Some Wu Tang stuff. Fun fact: in the Wu Tang TV show, there's a scene in that studio. It looks nothing like the real one, but you know, movie magic. Um, but that article, it was the engineer talking about how Premiere did his sessions,
Okay.
and he talked about, he said the MPC 60, he said S9. I don't know what any of this shit is. He's just listening to the stuff that they use. He said something about sequencer or MIDI. I'm just storing all this in my head, and then in one of those magazines, same magazine, I saw in the back of the classifieds they'd sell used equipment,
Oh
and I saw
yeah,
someone
yeah, yeah.
selling.
The classified ads, yeah.
Yep. I saw someone selling an Akai S950 in Connecticut for, I think it was like $350 or something. And I was like, I had a job at the time. I had a car at the time. I'm like, I guess I'm taking a trip up to Connecticut. So I still have the S950 that I bought.
Oh man.
I still use it to this day. And that was the first real piece of equipment that I had. And to be 1,000,000% honest, the first year of having it, I didn't know anything about how to use it.
Sure.
So it just kind of, I was basically doing the same thing I was doing with pause tapes with the S950. I just press a button to loop it, and that was the start of it all.
Do you think you are a product of your environment? And the question I'm asking is that do you think if Cryptic One grew up somewhere else in the United States that you would be doing what you have done and are doing today?
I mean, I think it'd be different, but I don't think, I think if you would have put me anywhere in the world, something music or creative, I should say, would
Mm.
have happened. I just had, even before music, like my parents always tell me, I had this creative urge, whether it was with words or
Yeah.
with um, drawing something. Like, I don't know if I'd be great or good or whatever, but um, I know the desire, the need, I should say. It's not even a desire. Like
Yeah.
for me, it's like breathing. I have to create something. The most miserable times of my life are when I'm not making anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's who I am to the core.
Yeah. What about the writing aspect and how did that coincide and go along with each other? And when does it take a back seat? When does it come to the driver's seat? Can you explain that transition?
Um, like I said, that was the start. Was me writing raps,
Yeah.
but as every early MC, I sucked. I just literally would like write down Big Daddy Kane's lyrics and try and figure out the rhyme patterns and steal them and kind of try and make them my own. Um, that was the start of it, but I didn't really start taking it seriously until I met my friend, still a good friend to this day. His name is Safari. He's the first rap partner I had, and he was younger than me, but he was dope. Like he was just a dope MC, but I was the DJ and I had beats. So we linked up, and then he started rapping, and I was like, he wrote this really dope verse for a beat that I'd made, and I'm like, I could do that. So I wrote a verse and I recorded it, and then we became like a group. And then that's when I started taking it more serious. And it was a competitive thing. Like I didn't want to get outshined on my own
Yeah.
tracks, and
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
so I think that was the real catalyst for me to take it a bit more serious.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's always at the end of the day, it's always some sort of competition, friendly
Yeah.
competition. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Where
what
where are
pushed
we at in terms of your life now? Is this high school or
me. Now,
college?
uh, end of high school, about to go into college. I'd say the first raps that I was recording was like 88 or 88.
Man,
So I graduated high school in 89. So it was
you
towards the
were
end of
doing it,
87.
man.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah. Way
Um,
before all like technology and the programs, the internet. Man,
There was
that's the
a lot of stuff.
grind. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was an interesting time for sure. I'm glad I came up through that time.
Yeah.
I think the limitations kind of forced me to be a little more creative, and to kind of find my own lane, which, I love all the information we have at our fingertips today,
Yeah.
but I also feel like it makes everyone kind of do things the same. Um, if everyone's getting the same exact information and that's the quote unquote right way,
Mm.
where's it leave for the happy mistakes that happen?
Yeah. Yeah. And so would you mind, did you telling me, did you and Safari have a group name or
Yeah, it was PTP, which stood for Peachtree Productions.
nice.
Actually found the recordings. If you dig deep enough in my Instagram, they're there. I
Oh, dang.
post a
Okay.
couple of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that kind of morphed into uh, EBS, which is this. Which
Oh,
this
man.
was the
Okay.
first group. This was me, Safari, the guy I told you about, Jest, who's also in Adam's family,
Yeah.
um, and my boy Tell and our DJ Screw. Um, so that group came right after PTP. We were a little more, I want to say mature, but we were not anything but mature. But we were, in our 20s, and
Yeah.
rap was like our lives, and we were trying to do it serious. Like we were
Okay.
recording demos, trying to get signed. Like it was, it became like a real thing at that point. Like we weren't just doing this in the basement for fun anymore. We had goals.
Yeah. Performing, doing shows, I assume.
Yeah, we didn't do too many shows to be honest, but we were just studio rats,
Okay.
freestyle all the time,
Yeah.
shopping our demos to labels and that sort of thing. But yeah,
Man.
we weren't out there performing too much to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, and so okay, EBS to PTP, you connect with Safari and Jest, and so it sounds like that happens for a good number of years, probably almost like close to 10 years before you cross paths with the Adams Family crew. And
Yeah, like
so,
EBS was like 90
okay.
to like 94, and then Adam's family, I met them in like 95, 96.
Yeah. And can you talk about that transition from PTP to Adams Family, how that happened and
Yeah.
how came that
You
group?
know, well, initially, like the EBS crew, we had a deal kind of on the table. We had a meeting that did not go the way that we wanted it
Wow.
to. Um, just like the person um, who we were meeting with was kind of trying to convince us that we couldn't rap about the things that we wanted to rap about, which was like
Mm.
destroying MCs and that sort of thing. He wanted to pull us more into rapping about our lives, and we were like kids in Long Island that would hang out and pick up chicks at the mall. I don't want to rap about that shit. So half of the group kind of wanted to try that, and the other half was like, no, fuck that, and kind of caused the group to break up. And then I became a solo artist, and I recorded a solo demo. Also, if you dig in my Instagram, that's out there.
Yeah.
Um, and the way I met Adam's family, there was a thing you did back in the days. Radio shows, college radio shows would open up the phone lines. You call up and you could rap on the air, and the host would usually diss you, because most of the people weren't very good.
Right, right.
And I used to call up, and I called up one station in Long Island, Adelphi, and I rapped on the air. The host loved me, put me on hold. Then the next week, these two guys called up, and they were like, "Yo, everyone who calls up sucks on this show, except for
Right, yeah.
except for that dude Cryptic One in Long Island. Shout out to him." And I was like, "Who are these guys?" And then I heard them rap,
Uh-huh,
and then they were dope.
uh-huh.
And then the host connected us because he thought that we would get along,
Yeah.
and that turned out to be Molecule and Witchcraft, and we formed Center of the Web. They were part of this larger collective called Adams Family, and I kind of got in that fold through them. So
Oh, that's super cool. Because I heard from Alaska, he had told me that it became like a super big collective at first, where it almost became out of hand. And then at some point, you guys like refined the primary league members, right? So,
yeah, I mean, it kind of refined itself.
okay.
Like I was only one with the studio, so we'd
Yeah.
set days to record, and the people who kept showing up,
Yeah.
those are the ones. Those are the ones that are on the
Ah,
paper.
gotcha.
So it was pretty much open to anyone to come.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
that's awesome.
just, yeah, just whoever, some people like don't need it as much as others, like
Yeah. Oh, good
there's
point.
for me it's like about a need to create, and not so
Yeah.
also it's easy for me to show up because it's my house.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I was in Long Island, everyone was scattered around the city mostly, so it's like not easy to get back and forth. So I kind of understood why not everyone showed up, but at the end of the day I was like, whoever shows up, that's who's recording, let's go.
Yeah. And so you talk about this place where you guys are recording, and I've seen all over the net, and I've heard Alaska talk about it. Your famous parents' house that everybody came to and recorded at,
Yep.
and I've seen Blueprint talk about it, the recording of Alchemy. And so, can you talk to me about this house and what it became and how important it was to hip hop in general?
It's kind of weird that way. Like the underground scene has owes a lot to my parents, whether they realize it or not. I owe a lot to my parents for having the patience. Like
Yeah.
there was literally one time where there were 30 people in the house.
Oh, yeah.
Like literally, I not exaggerating. Like all the Anticon guys were there. Most
Crazy.
of Adam's family was there. This group, the Lensman, was there. All this one weekend that they happened to be in town,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was. God bless my parents. That's
Yeah,
all I
yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
putting up with this madness. But I think on some level they would rather me be inside doing that than
Yeah,
being
good point.
outside getting to some other shit. So I think it was twofold. But they put up with a lot of loud music, and luckily all the people that came through were good people. We
Good.
didn't have any like assholes in the
Yeah.
crew. So, um, but yeah, I do think it was an important um, part, and it's kind of cool because my parents still live there, and whenever I
Oh
visit them,
yeah.
they saved all my shit, so it's all in the basement. So like,
Dude.
I go and just like find old cassettes of stuff, and yeah, and yeah, it's
And,
great.
and Blueprint talked about the room not being very big. He was like, "Yeah, we crashed out there, and I'd be surprised if four people could like get down and lay out there overnight." So, man, it's just crazy to think like the volume of people, and then just the music that you made. Did you guys have like a nickname for that house, or was it just
Well,
Crips Home?
I always just called it the crypt. That was
Yeah, yeah,
that's what it was from day
yeah,
one, from like 1989. It was always called the crypt. Um,
man,
yeah, fun
that's awesome.
times.
Well, hey, and I forgot to ask you this early on,
Yep.
but as we all know, when you begin your musical journey, whether it's producing, emceeing, or whatever the case may be, we take on an alias. And so, can you talk to me? Was Cryptic One the first name that you took on, and what was the transition? How did
I
it
wish it
happen?
was. I wish it was the first name. The first name was Phasey, which was
Okay.
Phazee,
Uh-huh.
and really that was more because, like I said, I drew. I was a graph artist as well. More because when I was figuring out my graph name, I was picking letters that I like to draw, and
Okay.
I like the way two E's look next to each other. I look like P's, and I like Z's and H's. So I'm like trying to rearrange all these letters that I like to draw
Yeah.
into a name, and somehow that became my name. And then when I started rapping, um, thanks to I guess De La Soul for being not straightforward and cryptic in their rapping, and I was the biggest De La Soul fan. Still my favorite group at the time. And when I started rapping more seriously, I noticed that people didn't know exactly what I was talking about, and I'd explain it to them. They'd be like, "Oh, that makes sense." So one time I wrote the words "Phasey, the master of the cryptic rhyme saying," and I was like, "Oh, cool." And then it became Phasey, the cryptic one, and then
Yeah.
I dropped the Phasey.
Oh, man.
So that's how the name happened. And it used to be the cryptic one because hip hop never spelled anything how it's supposed to be spelled.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
right.
I lost the duh, and now it's just cryptic one.
Oh,
So
fantastic. Yeah, great story. Yeah, and I love just your perspective on how the Adams family had come together and how you eventually just, refined itself based on just attrition, right? And people having different lives and different things that they wanted to do. Or the good point that you brought up is that some people need it more than others, right? And I feel like I'm one of those dude that just needs to do it. So, hey, great story. Now, I heard the story on where the Addams family name came from Alaska. I'd love to hear just your take on your understanding of where the name came from. Can you explain that?
The name, as far as I know, the name was a verse that Vast wrote.
Oh,
I know there was a page in his rhyme book that just said Adams Family on top of it, and that's my understanding where the name came from.
okay.
It's hard to say for sure because the four original members are Vast, Vortal, Osiris Cloud, and Genesis, and I think Genesis was like the main catalyst of starting it. He was like the I don't know if he's older age wise, but he was definitely more involved in like the music business inside of it before any of us were. Um, so it was always my understanding that it came from a vast verse, but I don't know what did Alaska say. I'm really curious what
Oh,
to
he
compare.
had mentioned that it's kind of similar to yours, right? Because he wasn't an original member too, and that he heard that when they were you guys were doing shows and stuff, like it just kind of took its form. Like people just started yelling like Adams Family just got like
That's cool.
yeah. So I'm not sure if he had also heard it from a song, but kind of just went with it and loved it, and then just the crowds chanting Adams Family. Maybe it was like a crowd selected name that people started calling you guys is what he thought. But yeah, it just gave me a great vision of this like motley crew of amazing MCs and producers and yeah, it was a cool story. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so you mentioned that, when you started with your first group, there was a deal on the table and you talked about, hey, this is different from the music that we want to make and I'm not doing the commercial stuff. And you guys are famous for making like very creative music and just very push the envelope type of style music. And so did you even realize what you were doing? Did you like know in your head that I'm making abstract rap, or is that just the way it came out? And because that was an important period with Def Jux and just all the music that you were making. Did you know that was the path that you guys were on?
I did. I always knew that I never wanted to be like anything else.
Yeah.
Um, I kind of like brought up De La Soul. Like they were like a validation before I even started doing it. Really, like just to be a weird kid from Long Island,
Yeah.
those that loved hip hop. Like I loved hip hop as much as like the thuggiest thug did. Like the kids in the hood. Like I loved hip hop, and I didn't want to make hip hop like that. So like I just did what came naturally.
Yeah.
Um, I always liked puzzles and word games
Mm.
as a kid before rap. So like that naturally kind of fed into the music. And then when I started to try and get signed, you kind of like learn structure a little bit more,
Yeah.
and um, you kind of confine yourself to these things that people want from you. And then I met Adam's family, and those motherfuckers were so not that.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
That
Right.
they reminded me like that's not what I want either. So like I remember recording sessions with them early on and I was just kind of blown away by how like there were no rules. And it
I love
turns out like
that.
they just didn't know the rules because they were kind of young at this, but it was a beautiful thing to capture it and to try and kind of like rein it in a little bit, but also let them be wild.
Yeah.
So, like Adams was, it was kind of a cool little partnership when I came to Adams because I feel like some of them were so out there that they were pulling us away, and I'd pull us a little back in, and just be like this push and pull that kind of landed where it landed.
Yeah, and that was, I mean, it was beautiful because it was still like molding itself into, what music would become in terms of like that genre. And as you talk to me about that story, I think about the song name for $200 with you at Wind and Breeze And so, and that was like an 8 minute track, right? And that was fun. The hook play on Banana Fana Fofana, and man, it
Yeah,
was just, yeah, it was just like, different things trying to find its identity, but at the same time, that's what it was, man. And I appreciate that time of just that kind of music. And there's such a big place for in it now. And I think you guys were some of the drivers for creating that genre, and then you saw Anacon, Strange Famous doing that all different pockets. So man, very, very critical to what hip hop is today. Yeah.
it's weird to say that, and grateful for you saying it.
Yeah.
It just feels like we just were weird kids who did our thing, and like
Yeah,
somehow
yeah. Uh-huh.
other weird kids found it, and it spoke to them, and kind of spread the weirdness. Like it's a beautiful thing. I'm glad to have been any part of hip hop. That's all I
Yeah.
ever really wanted to do, was have my name somewhere in the books. Didn't have to
Yeah.
be the biggest name, but just somewhere to like move the needle forward with this thing that I love so much. And
Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah, my timeline for music is after yours. And so 97 was when I discovered that kind of music, 98. And
okay,
so it gave me, like a home base to go to, that kind of music, right? Adam's Family, Mystic Journeyman, Living Legends,
okay,
right before that. And so that was, that's where I wanted to be, make, weird, different music, right? And so, yeah, that's fantastic. So I think, that's awesome. You guys trailblazed it and it's, never turned back. So, and I think about it now. Or I'd like to ask you, do you ever go back to listen to your old stuff at all?
I
Or
do, I
yeah,
do. Not like all the time. I do. I try to listen to it without the critical ear,
yeah,
um,
okay, good,
which
yeah,
which is really hard.
yeah,
It's really hard. But I see, like I watch an interview with Alaska, and I know he doesn't like attach to the old stuff, or
yeah,
maybe it was
yeah,
on
yeah,
a podcast. Like he's like he cringes with most of the older stuff. I love that stuff. I
yeah,
love that. I love that no one knew what they were doing,
yeah.
and it was just kind of like this free for all. And there are pockets of it that I don't think we could make now.
Oh,
And
yeah, good point.
just because our minds just are so used to different structures and know how to write better.
Yeah,
But like there are moments in those times and styles and like wordplay that
yeah,
to me it's still unmatched. Like I haven't seen anything like
yeah,
surpass it.
yeah,
Um, and maybe that sounds a little arrogant, but like that's how I feel. And
yeah,
the flip side is I listen to some of it and think it's utter crap.
yeah.
So, it's but I do go back and listen every once in a while for sure.
Yeah. Now, and it's great that when I was talking to Alaska, that a lot of it survived in terms of like, still being around. You guys push stuff out and put it out on physical product, but then there were a lot of like unreleased freestyle sessions. And so,
Still
yeah, yeah, it's crazy. And somebody had it, and it finds its way on the internet.
Yep.
And so it's just amazing, that it survived at that time because it wasn't like we were thinking about digital storage or just like, okay, who's going to keep it? And yeah, and I'm sure at your parents' home there or cassettes that have never seen the light of day, and it'd be crazy to think like, oh man, what's in that stuff? So
Yeah, I'm playing with the idea. I have some of the stuff here. Um,
nice.
Unfinished songs with all the Adams Family freestyles, stuff like that. And
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure out a way to kind of organize it and make it make sense and put it out there for the people who give a shit
yeah,
about that sort of thing. Um, but
yeah. What's
yeah,
what's your ethnic background, if you don't mind me asking?
no, I don't mind you asking at all. My mother's African American. My father's hard to say. He's Jewish, right?
Yeah.
But he's my entire life I grew up thinking it was Russian Jew, and
Uh-huh.
then later found out, well, it was the Soviet Union back then, but
Okay.
it's Ukrainian Jew
Oh,
actually.
oh,
So
interesting.
yeah,
And you,
so
you
that
speak any languages?
barely English,
Yeah, yeah, I mean that's my line too. Yeah.
barely.
Well, hey,
I can speak a little bit of Spanish. I understand a lot of Spanish, but
okay.
I would never even consider myself a Spanish speaker at all.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this. What did your cultural background play in terms of developing the music that you make? Was there any influence? Did you let the hip hop culture drive Cryptic One's style, or did being African American or being Russian American, did that have a role in what music came out?
I think it's a combination of both. I think not so much African American or Ukrainian Jew that molded it, but just the fact that I was mixed
Okay.
ethnicity in a time where that wasn't the norm.
Ah.
So I never felt like I really belonged to the group fully, um, which kind of states how I felt in hip hop too. I never really fit in with like the even like from the underground side, the punchline MCs, we were not that. We weren't like rapping about hood shit. We weren't rapping about girls. We never really fit into any one space, but also fit in all of them. So I think that kind of may have molded me. And other than that, I'm a hip hop kid through and
Yeah.
through. Like I was born around the time hip hop was born, and I saw the first stages of it till now. And I grew up in New York listening to the radio shows and had family in Harlem and the Bronx, and so like it's just who I am. It's part of me. It's never going anywhere.
Yeah. Oh man. And the blueprint was there, and the fingerprints are all over the place now. And yeah, just a great trail. I mean, going back to 2001, I really loved the Euphony album and the compilation of tracks. And you guys did it, and then you had the song Half Life that I really enjoyed too. And yeah, it just takes me back. It's a good reminder, and just very nostalgic, as I listen to it, and I refreshed, my ears to it before we did this interview, and it was a
Wow.
great time. Yeah.
Yeah, you're making me want to go listen to it. I haven't
Yeah.
listened to that in a minute.
Well, well, hey, let's drive back memory lane real quick. Let's talk about the recording of Alchemy, and I saw Blueprint's take on that summer of 2001, again, that prime time era of abstract music. He talks about being in your parents' home, about to record it at midnight. Ace Uprock's got a piece of paper tacked on or taped onto the wall. Can you talk to me about that? Do you remember that memory? Because that song is very important to hip hop too, right? And so,
I
yeah.
remember it very vividly. I remember um, pressing record the first time Blueprint was about to. I'd never heard the verse. Like it's
Yeah.
not. That's how we operated. Like we didn't kick the verses to each other and like, oh yeah, let's record it. I didn't hear anything until I pressed record the first time. And when he says I spit with an immense amount of power, I kid you not, he was yelling at the top of his lungs. I had to stop the take, turn down the gain on the mic, and do it over. And yeah, it was. It's one of those moments. I mean, there have been a lot of those moments when you're there, you kind of realize something special is happening.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I've been wrong when I said that. So, but that one turned out to be a real special moment.
Yeah.
I remember Print came with his MPC with the beat, and he played the beat, and I was like, "This beat is crazy." And I don't remember if they wrote it right there, probably because that's how we did a lot of stuff then.
Yeah.
But yeah, in my parents' house, in my actual bedroom where I had a bed that folded up to a couch, and everyone would sit on the couch and write their shit, and that was it.
Hey man, so you mentioned earlier in the interview that you had, all sorts of groups out there. One in particular that you mentioned that I'm a fan of is Anacon, and I know you mentioned in our earlier part of the interview your interaction with Soul and Alias. Can you just share one story each of your interactions, or just fun times that you had with Soul and Alias
Yeah.
for this interview? Yeah.
So Soul, the first time I met him, this was prior to Anacon. Um, we talked earlier how I was a solo artist after EBS, and I recorded a demo, and I was shopping it around, calling radio shows. Somehow, well, I know how now, but somehow my demo leaked onto the tape trading circuit on It was back then. It was CompuServe. It was before AOL existed.
Oh
People
man.
used the internet and they'd be trading hip hop tapes all over the country. I had no idea about any of this shit. So one day I get a call. He's like, "Yo, is this Cryptic One?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like this is like, what's up? He's like, "Yo, my name is Soul. I'm from Maine. I got your tape through here, man. I just want to tell you you're really dope." Blah blah blah. And we just started talking hip hop.
Yeah.
Um, and one time he was going to be in New York, and we'd talk on the phone often. He was like, "Yo, I'm going to be in New York. Can I come through?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So he came through. Uh, I made a beat on the spot. He was like, "Yo, can I use that beat?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And he put a sample to it of Mr. Complex, rest in peace, who just passed away.
Yeah.
Um,
Man.
and that song made it onto the Last Poets album. And that was the first time I ever had any production credit on a CD or any physical anything. So that was my sole story meeting him. Um, and it turned out that how my demo got leaked, my cousin, he was part of that whole circuit. And
Oh,
he
gotcha.
was go around. He's like, "Yo, you guys should check this guy out," and like trade my tape to all these people. And yeah, that's how my demo leaked out.
Man,
Shout out to my
that's great. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and what about Alias? Did you have I know you mentioned at some point he had come over to record. Did you have a lot of
Yeah,
interaction with him or what was
not too much. We speak on the phone sometimes, mostly about equipment.
okay.
But
Yeah, 'cause
that
he was
session, he was there. He recorded raps. I wasn't even aware of him producing at that
yeah,
moment. I just knew he was a rapper. So like, yeah, I mean, all those guys were, we were just all part of the scene together, and we
yeah,
all always cross paths, one way or another. If
yeah.
I was in their area, I'd hit them up, vice versa. So, rest in peace to Alias.
Yeah,
To
absolutely. Yeah, and it's to me it's very important to remember these individuals and I love like if there's a story that I can pull out, but amazing that there was interaction between good folks like you guys. So yeah, I appreciate you sharing your interactions with Anacon.
oh
And
yeah.
yeah, and I mentioned to Alaska too. You guys are just amazing at freestyle. And when I went through all the old albums, the prequel, and I went through the archives, and I went through Euphony. There was always like a hint of freestyle, and it's an important art too. And freestyle nowadays is defined differently, right? And I respect to however you define freestyling now, but my definition goes back to just off the top and raw raps and it's fun, man. And like did you make it a conscious effort to practice freestyling or did you just like it? What was your opinion of freestyle and what is it now? Yeah.
There was definitely what's the word? An arrogance to it. Like, and
A
there
good
was a
good
time
arrogance.
period
Like, yeah.
when I was like, if you can't freestyle, you're not an MC, which is ridiculous. I know that now as an adult, but back then I didn't give a fuck. Like you had
Yeah,
to
right, right.
like if
Right.
you went on the radio show and you kicked a written, I didn't care how dope it was. Like you had to freestyle. That's why I would respect people like when Souls of Mischief came to Stretch and Bobito, they freestyled. I was like, yep, those are MCs.
Yeah, yeah.
And like that was the arrogance of youth. Nowadays, like I don't care. I'd much
Yeah.
rather you wrote an incredible song than freestyle a
Yeah.
great 16. Like I don't practice anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Um,
feel you on that.
I do kind of practice, but more joking with my fiance. Like I'll battle her for like 10 minutes straight. She's just sitting there minding her business, and I'm
Yeah.
just battling her, like cracking jokes at her expense, and
Yeah.
then she tries to fight back a little bit. But that's the extent of my freestyling these days. But there's definitely a beauty to the craft of it. Um, and to some extent, I guess I do still freestyle because a lot of the writing is really like freestyles that just kind of get edited down
Yeah,
into
sure.
something more meaningful. But at the end of the day, I feel like songwriting is a far better skill to have
Yeah.
as far as like making lasting music. Unless certain people, I know people who, well, shit, Vordel has freestyled on a bunch of songs that the world has heard and people don't even know that that's a
Wow.
freestyle. Yeah.
Oh man, that's
I
crazy.
go back and listen to Adam's All Star off the prequel, the last I think 16 bars of Vortal's verse.
Okay.
It's a freestyle. I know because I recorded it and it never sounded the same twice. And I actually cut it off on the word pigeon because he kept rapping for like another 2 minutes. I
Jeez.
cut it off and echoed out pigeon because I'm like, okay, we can't have another like 15-minute song with just you rapping at the
Yeah.
end. So I wish I still had the ending just so I could hear it. But
Yeah.
yeah, Vortal, he's definitely got a few records out there where he'll fuck up his verse and just freestyle the rest.
Yeah, and
Um,
that was you said that was on the prequel, right?
yep, the
Okay.
song Adam's All Star, also Metal Gear, the Cannibal Ox song. I know Vortal freestyled like probably 60-70% of that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go back and listen to it now that I have that in my mind. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's another important album too that has some of the first release Cannibal Ox songs that you produced, man. So yeah, again, just yeah, important staples to hip hop. So fantastic. Hey, there's one song I wanted to ask you about, and I talked to you about it earlier, but the name's for $200. And so I connected with it because I know the original hook, the play off it, the name game song. Right. And so can you just tell me, just for the record, who came up with that idea to do that with the with the play
that
off
was me.
that?
That was me.
I thought it was great, man. Like
I'm
yeah,
glad someone did because I know Alaskan Wind thought it was corny and they didn't want to do it.
this
But
is
I was
good.
like, yeah, I still I kind of cringe when I listen to it now. Um, but I'm glad it found you because of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There was definitely a childhood thing that it's a nostalgic thing saying doing the name game, like with
Yeah.
my parents, and the verses came first, and we were just basically combining all these different names, famous names, and putting
Yeah.
them together in interesting ways. And then we came up with the hook, and I was like, "Come on, guys, let's just do this shit."
Yeah,
And
it's a great tribute to the time and the music that was going on. Bobby J from Rockaway does a song where he kind of like uses the melody from Tom's Diner, Susan Vega song, and I caught it because it was my time period, and so I love when people do those references that just
yeah, yeah,
it's awesome, man.
nostalgia is a hell of a drug, man. You got to tap into it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And it's great, man. Just again, you have an amazing catalog, both on the MC side of the house and on the producer side. And I'm very happy that you're still doing it. Raw Data Soul Beat Tape, which was a compilation of different US producers that was released not too long ago. You got
Actually, a
stuff
couple of
on.
Indonesian producers on there too.
That is crazy. So, and I didn't realize, and I've only been here for 6 months, and I'm starting to get tied in with the scene. But man, the graph scene, the producer scene, I'm trying to like, now that I'm settled into my job, yeah, getting immersed into that, and I just I connected with a Malaysian guy, different country, but the circle is starting to tighten. So I look forward to getting down with some cats out here. But yeah, that's amazing. Still, what?
It's really pure out there right now, so it's like it's
Yes.
not corrupted by money yet. So now's the
Yeah.
time to be.
Oh man, yeah, hey, great point, man. So I'll go back and now I'll have to pinpoint some of those producers. But yeah, what is a soul? What a great contribution to that project, and I'm just happy that you're still doing music and killing it. But yeah, man, you got stuff scattered all over the place. I really enjoyed the one that you shared on your page from the group Album Mighty Joseph. Yeah, and you had that song Blur that you did with Vast and Carnage, and man, it's dope, man. Just man, you got yeah, too much dope stuff out there, man. Not a crime at all, but yeah.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And so and we're actually going to be on an album together at some point, but I saw P Minus just posted that Microphone Friends was getting ready to come out, and I'd noticed on the roster of names that you were on there too, and I was like, "Oh man." So were you rapping or producing on that one?
I'm rapping on that one. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. And who were you paired up with? Who did you pair up with?
Shit, I don't even remember, man.
Okay.
I,
Oh, I
it's
can't
been
wait.
it's got to be over a year that I wrote the verse. I don't even remember the verse. I
Yeah, me
remember
too.
that.
I did like three. I
I'm like,
did
I hope
three for
it's
that
good.
album. Yeah.
I hope it's good.
Yeah,
But
I'm shocked.
they love
Hey, the guy doesn't put out anything whack at all, man. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just hoping my part's good. Like I expect everyone else to be good. I'm just like 'cause I wrote it pretty quickly. They gave me the kind of like not a concept, but he told me what his verse was about, and I was like, oh, I like the concept, so I did
Yeah,
my take on it, and I think I made a reference to a Vortal line in there.
nice.
He made a reference to a line that a friend of his said, and I
Yeah.
think that was a connection. And I remember liking it when I recorded it, and then I
Yeah.
sent it, and then I tend not to listen to stuff again for a
Yeah.
while. So
Until it's yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. And Eric Solo produced it based out of Cali, amazing MC and producer. So I look forward to that as well. In preparation for this interview, I also, was trying to find some other stuff that you did. I know you're a bit of a filmmaker too, and I saw that you released a documentary called Beats Table. I tried to Google it, couldn't find it, but and I saw that, it was a 10-minute video about the beat scene. Can you quickly just give us an introduction on what it is, where we can find it? I'd love to watch it at some point, but yeah, can you tell me?
unfortunately, you can't find it just because I'm in the midst of shopping it to film festivals.
Oh,
And
got it. Okay.
caveat about that, which I didn't know when I made it, is that once you put it online, it kind of disqualifies you from most film festivals. So
Gotcha.
yeah, it doesn't live in the real world yet. There's been some screenings around Brooklyn. I
Okay.
did get a possible screening with a film festival. It's still kind of in the works, so we'll see if that happens.
Good luck.
Um, I'm gonna try for a few more months, and then I'm just gonna release it publicly. But what it is it's a 10-minute documentary short about three different producers, and it's not really. There's nothing about process. I don't want to tell you how they make beats or why they sample or all this other stuff. It's really about why they make music, as for lack of a better term, for mental health reasons,
Yeah.
to help them get through grief or heartbreak or just life in general. Like these are
Sure.
people who need the same thing we talked about earlier, who need to make this music,
Yeah.
and it's kind of about that. And I picked three producers from the beat scene here in Brooklyn that I respect their music.
Yeah.
They kind of have their own lane, and I've done shows with them. I've thrown shows where they've been part of, and I wanted to learn more about them. And I got
Yeah.
this opportunity to do a documentary. I'm like, I'm just going to be selfish. Who do I want to learn more about?
Mm,
And that's how I decided who I picked.
wow.
Um, the original concept, which I'm still going to do hopefully at some point, was a series. Um,
Okay.
so the title's Beat Stable. It's however you want to flip it. It's either Beat Stable because they use beats to be stable, or it's Beats Table, like
Um,
eating on the table.
yeah.
Also a play on I don't know if you've seen the Netflix documentary Chef's Table, the series,
Okay.
um, which is where I stole the idea from.
Okay.
Because when I saw that, I was amazed by it, and I'm like, they need something like that for producers, and that's what I tried to do.
Amazing.
So, um, yeah, it was really hard. Making a film is not easy, even a 10-minute short, and I didn't know what I was getting into, and I would do it very differently the second time around. Like I did everything myself,
Yeah.
like 99% of it myself. I did the editing, the production, the directing, the color correcting, like every step I did myself. I maybe had two people help me with little things here and there, but um, yeah, that's not the way to make a film. But you live and learn. Um,
In its purest form, I think. And so you mentioned your opinion on that, and I go back because at what one point you shared that you are a man who tries to chase perfection, but you realize as you become older that you gotta let it be. And I know that you hold yourself to a certain standard, but you say that even today, as a seasoned artist, that you are learning to deal with flaws. And I think that's a perfect example of that. But can you share just a little more on that, on why you have changed your heart a little bit and why you're learning to let things be what it's got to be without
I-
being
I'll
too picky?
I'll tell you that that's what I say out loud to convince myself. The
Okay.
perfectionism is still 100% there. I have an album, a rap album that's been basically done for 6 years. That
Dude.
Yeah, and I keep going back and changing things. I'm like, I don't like that verse.
Man.
So it's still there. There's some projects where I force myself. I try and have a healthy balance. Like
Yeah.
there's some things where I'm like, all right, I'm making a beat every day and I'm posting it whether I like it or not. And I force myself into that and I do that for a few months. And then
Man.
there are other things that I'm like, I want to craft this into like the perfect thing.
Wow.
And eventually what happens is I get to the point where I want to work on the next thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, I call it my fuck it point, and I'm like, all right, fuck it, it's done, and I put it out, and
Yeah.
then I move on, and then like the public thinks it's brand new because they didn't hear it, they don't know that this song is 6 or 7 years old, um, but yeah, I the perfectionism thing, it's a constant struggle. Um, I do go through my periods where I have a hold of it, and I'm like, just let it live with the flaws and move on with my life.
Yeah.
And then there's the other side, the dark side that comes out. It's like, well,
Yeah.
it's got to be better than the last thing you did. Like to me,
Yeah.
you know,
Sure. Fair.
I have learned through releasing music publicly for years that I cannot decide what people like.
Yeah. Oh,
That
true statement, bro.
you never. I've always picked like, okay, this is going to be the song everyone likes on the album, and
Yeah.
it's never right. A
Yeah.
100% failure rate.
Yeah.
Like it's not even close.
Yeah.
Um, I'm generally good at picking other people's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
stuff.
Good. That's why you
I'm
think
like,
you can pick the. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, obviously that's going to be the song on the album everyone gravitates towards. But for my own stuff, I can't do it, and I'm comfortable with that. And I think at this point in my career, or music making, or anything creative, I just want to make something that I like,
Yeah.
and let everyone else figure it out. The problem is I can be kind of an asshole and like something one day and then the next day not like it.
Sure.
So I try and get into the mind state of just record, release, be done with it. That's why I don't really listen to like I haven't that verse that we talked about for
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
P minus thing. Like I record it, it's done, it's out of my hands. Like even the raw data thing, I made that beat when I was just making beats every day, and then I kind of like tweaked it and did the mix, and then I sent it off. And I was like, all right, that's done. And then started listening to the mix like a week later, and all I heard were the things that I did wrong. So I'm like, I haven't listened to it since. It's
Yeah.
been out. It's just came out, and I
Yeah.
haven't listened to it. I
No.
refuse because I know I'm just going to hear the critical stuff. I'll
Yeah,
give it a
I
year,
get
see if
it,
everybody.
man. I'm just a dude too, trying to chase the perfect album, and yeah, I get it. I struggle with that, and I've got stuff I'm sitting on for years, and I'm like, ah. And I recently had a scare where like I damaged my computer and almost lost stuff that,
Oh,
oh man, I would be very upset that if it never saw the light of day. But I feel you on that. Yeah. And you're doing a lot of great stuff. Your IG videos with the bird's eye view of you producing beats, great,
thank
man.
you. I'm glad that's resonating. It's
Yeah,
that shit is fun.
yeah,
That to me is like that's the most fun. Like
yeah,
I beat making and figuring out a way to shoot it on video that's unique and different and
yeah.
catches people. Like that's my current like pure enjoyment.
Yeah. Because I'm not at one point I caught myself, I was like, I'm not even listening to the beat anymore. I'm like watching you light the incense. I'm watching the angles and it moving. And so that's another capture point in the product that you're making. So fantastic. Lot of great things, man.
Thank you, man. I'm glad you said that. That really
Yeah.
makes me know something right.
Well, as I get, close to the end, I still feel my opinion the Cryptic One, and as we, went through memory lane too, I still feel like you're kind of like the resurrector, of the crew, and still that leader, right? That person that brings everybody together. Do you see maybe an Adams Family song or project in the future? Is that potential?
Project
Possible.
project, I would say no.
Okay.
Um, because that even in the days where we were doing it hardcore, there was no project. Like Adam's Family prequel was not
Yeah.
an Adam's Family project. That was just me being fed up and saying, I'm taking some songs that we've recorded and I'm putting them together. And you
Yeah.
guys are gonna have to deal with me putting it out into the world. Like
Yeah.
that literally is me being a control freak.
Uh,
And had I not done that, like nothing would have happened. So um it's just really hard to get us all on the same page, and now as adults it's even harder.
yeah.
I do think a song is a possibility,
Sure.
um, to be recorded. To be released, that's a whole other thing because that perfectionism is real with everybody, and
Yeah, sure.
especially when you start hearing your verse next to someone else's verse,
Yeah.
you're gonna be like, I want to change that, and it's just
Yeah.
gonna be this endless cycle of people trying to that competitiveness,
Yeah.
like to be dope. I hope it happens, but I'm not holding my breath. To be fair, been in contact with Vordal a lot lately, with Alaska a lot lately, with Jest a lot lately.
Awesome.
Um, it's never been really on music. It's really well, it's we talk about music obviously, but it's been on some catching up and like connecting as humans.
Great.
Um, so, which to me is the best place for collaborations to happen is
Yeah.
when you can on a human level as opposed to just like here's a beat, why don't you do a rap, and you don't even know the person, so like us kind of reconnecting just on this, yeah, it's gonna happen at some point.
I
It's
love
not gonna be all of us on a track, but like maybe me and Vordal do a track, or maybe Alaska and Vordal do a track, or maybe all three of us, something like that.
it. Yeah.
um, I can't see it not happening.
Yeah. Fantastic. Hey, well, with that, just there's no question on your impact to hip hop and your contributions have, certainly set the path for many others, mine included too, as well. And so, man, I just very valuable. I'm very appreciative of the time that you gave me, and yeah, I would say be very proud of the legacy that you have made and you're continue to building. It's been great talking to you and just getting into the mind of Cryptic One. So thank you for your time. I love to close these interviews out with just some fun questions. So if
For
you
it, man.
are ready to go, let's do it.
Do it.
All right, man. I'm a big comedy guy. That drives me. I love to laugh. What is your favorite comedy movie of all time?
Oh, comedy movie.
Very hard. There's many, I'm sure, but
Yeah, Stripes is a big one
oh,
for me.
Bill Murray. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that one.
Classic.
That's one that I could recite pretty much every line,
Okay.
um, from front to back.
All right.
Um, yeah, I'm gonna stand on that.
I like it. Yeah.
Stripes it is.
Okay. Hey, this is uh something I love to ask New Yorkers. You guys are home to what some people say the best pizza in the world. Is it a crime to put pineapple on your pizza?
It's not a crime. I would never do that shit in a million years.
Oh, really? I like it.
I understand it because I like when I took time off from music, I got heavily into food, like cooking.
Okay.
So I under the sweetness and the saltiness, like I get the combination. I just can't do it. I can't.
All right. Hey, what is Cryptic One's favorite food? What's his go-to?
Um, I'm really big on Thai food.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What in
I spent some.
particular?
Khao soy is like my favorite dish. It's a northern Thai from Chiang Mai. Like
Yeah. Oh, Chiang Mai is
it's my,
great.
yeah, it's my favorite. It's also my favorite place in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and my fiance are planning on getting married in Thailand, so
Oh, man.
it's
Fantastic.
yeah,
Yeah.
we love that place like no other.
Oh, great, man. Okay. Hey, favorite color and why?
My favorite color is blue. Why? I don't know. Like I just decided that at a very young age, and it's never gone anywhere. Like it's blue. There's no blue in here,
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, it's still. If someone asks me my favorite color, without even hesitation, I say blue, and I don't even. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if it's really blue anymore. I think maybe as an adult, I'm more of a green guy.
All right. Last two questions for you. One is if you could have a meal with anybody, past or present, dead or alive, who would it be?
That is a tough one. Since we've been talking about a lot of music, um, I'm gonna pull David Axelrod out. He's my favorite producer. He's who I steal so much from, and I've listened to his records obsessively for I don't know 30, 40 years now, and yeah, I would love to sit down and kind of pick his brain as to why he does certain things so I could learn. That's purely a selfish, I just want my music to be better reason.
Nothing wrong with that. And I'll throw you a curveball for the last question. Favorite Jennifer Lopez movie?
Oh, whoa. What was the trippy one? Is that The Cell?
Oh yeah, that was a trippy one. I wasn't even thinking about that one. Yeah.
No, no one
Yeah.
does. It's not a Jennifer Lopez movie. That
That
was
was
like,
a weird one. I remember
yeah,
because I was
yeah,
used to like the Made in Manhattan movies and yeah.
yeah. No,
What
that one's like a psychedelic trip, basically. Yeah, that's my answer with that one.
what a
I
curveball
kind of, I
response.
kind of, I kind of want to go watch it again because I don't remember it, but I know it really making me feel unsettled and uneasy throughout the
Yeah,
whole
because
thing.
the movie cover, and I remember the weird horse scene. That's funny, man. I didn't expect to get that response, so came
Glad I
back
could
on
shock
me. Hey, that was fun, man. Hey, thank you again so much. I'd love to close this out now with just some last words from you, but I appreciate you, man. And again, thank you for setting the path for a lot of MCs, and I love what you're doing, and I'm a fan. So over to you for some final words.
First, thank you for having me, man. It's always good to talk about this stuff, but even more importantly, to talk about it with someone who clearly knows the history, you know? So, shout out to you.
Thank you.
As far as I'm not gonna like do the promote things, check me on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. It's Cryp underscore Uno, CRYP underscore UNO. Um, I have a lot of stuff planned for this year in all the sorts of things in filmmaking and beats and projects that I can't talk about and rap projects.
Man,
So like, a lot of things happening either this year or next year. I've been a little bit quiet as far as releases for the past 2 years. Um, that's going to change this year for sure.
amazing. Well, hey, with that, thank you, scholar and a gentleman. I appreciate your time, ladies and gentlemen. Cryptic One, and
Peace, peace.